Hello and welcome everyone to another session from Will to Play. I'm your host today, Will Harris. I'm your host in this session anyway, and all day today. Revit families. We're talking about the Rockstar Family series, class, training session on families. This is a basic level still. This is number 2 of 4 for the basic level. Again, this is number 2, ADA symbology. What the heck? All right, this is going to talk about the difference between model families and annotation families. Ooh. And in order to do that, we're going to talk about some templates, we're going to talk about tools, some more complex stuff. So session 1, as we recall from earlier, was all about what? The reference planes and then controlling the physical geometry. Session 2 is let's not talk about physical geometry. Let's deal with a different kind of family as well. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Let me go ahead and do the opening. And then we're going to unmute everybody and get started. Okay. So as you know, it's going to be more on families. What we will do is basically walk through the template files that Revit has. Because depending on what template file you use, it's either going to be, as you can see, model family, or it's going to be annotation families. Okay, and this makes a big difference. Model is true size, right? It's a desk, it's a table, it's a 3x5 desk. Doesn't matter what scale the view is, that desk is physically 3x5. And annotation, right? Annotation, we're talking about text on top of the model. Right, and that's not going to scale according to the view. Annotation families scale independent. They don't care. They care about what? They care about how you print. They care about when you hit the print button, boom, it's going to show up as a 1/4" symbol, a 1/2" symbol. The text will be 1/4" text. Doesn't matter about the view. Gone all the days of, oh my gosh, how do we deal with the scale of the text in the view, and oh my god, yeah, all that stuff. Gone. So, reiterating, again, model, real world, objects, annotation, sheets. There you go. Think dimensions. You want it to be 1/8 inch when plotted. That's annotation, right? Think plotted. I care about it when it's plotted, not care about the scale of the plotting. I care about the actual size. There you go. So we'll talk about templates, families, model, line work, symbolic, what all those mean. And at this point, I will pause. I'm going to unmute everybody. Let's see how our speakers are going here. All right, unmuted. Do we have any questions? Everybody can hear me. Everybody's been following along. It's exciting. Yes. Laura, I now have you unmuted, so you should be able to talk. But you don't have a microphone yet. That's a good investment. I'm going to put up a recommendation on my website for what to use, because I think I have a good one. It works well for me. Okay, so of course, if you have questions, please demute yourself. I'm getting some little bits of feedback. I don't know who it is yet. We will discover it. And as soon as that happens, it looks like it's maybe a little bit of Robin and maybe a little bit of Brian. No? Ah, there it is. Joe. Joe, you got to get a better mute, man. That would help. Okay, so if you have a question, please raise your hand, because Joe, you will have to raise your hand. Jonathan, it looks like I'm going to send you that pin. Robin, your mute seems to be fine. And Tom, also, that your mute seems to be fine as well. So, Joe, if you need to ask a question, please speak up. Brian, you are also unmuted. Okay, moving forward. So, here are the topics, right? Knowing the right families, more about family tools, and other uses for annotation, right? So we're basically just checking that you kind of understand the template files and knowing what family to use, because there's a lot of them, right? Let me jump into Revit at this point and explain this idea of template files. What are you talking about? Right? That's the family we're going to get done with eventually. But when I go File, New, and Family, and we've seen this dialog box, we have that little process point there. When you go here, this is all of the template that I'm talking about. And I'm also talking about, like, there's an annotation folder. So this is anything that's going to be sheet specific versus everything else that's model geometry you're going to deal with the model. Okay, that's what I mean by template files. Back to PowerPoint. We're going to learn some more of the family tools and other uses for annotation. So I'm going to explain both of those real quick. Boom. Okay, so we're going to learn more of these tools here, right? The symbolic lines, these little tools, how all that works. So I'm going to flush out the rest of the tools that are available to you and explain the uses of them. And then, well, there's some other things we can do with the annotation, right? This is annotation because, well, is this model geometry or is this annotation symbology? This is a question that I'd like you to think about, and then at the end of the session, you will find out, guess what, Will? You have done something right or you have done something wrong. So I'm already beginning to try to teach you how to break apart a family. So this family that we are looking at here, is it an annotation family or is it a physical geometry family, a model family? And if it is, well, what template file do we use and why? Just, that's what we will eventually get to. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. So, again, knowing the right family. I propose that question to you now so that you can understand why this is all important at the end. Right, model families versus annotation. Again, models scale with the view. Annotation is all about the sheet. Let me expound on this. And so I'm going to flip back and forth. Like, this is how it's going to work. This is not as hectic as the first one, by the way. Session 1 is like, oh, I got to show you all this stuff. Session 2 is like, we want to dial it all back in, talk about it one more time. So I'm going to start 2 new families. Go ahead and close this existing one. And here's some stuff that's been up for a little while. We're going to go new. Okay, what's that? New family or new project? Oh, I started a new project. Oh, that's not what I want. In fact, I want to go File, New, Family. And I'm going to create an annotation family, and I'm just going to go ahead and start off with generic annotation. Oh, cool. Gives me a little note, gives me some reference planes. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and file save as. Right, this is just this was from the annotation side, right? And then we're going to do one more thing, which is what? Oh, we want to try the model. We're testing the 2 different. We're trying to show you the difference between annotation, what I just did, and generic model. Right? They start off, the template file name says the same thing. Both of them say generic model. Or the other one says generic annotation. But same idea. Whoa, what just happened there? I open up generic model, and how many views open? 4, 5, something like that. When I opened up generic annotation, only 1 view showed up. This should tell you something. Well, it's telling me that, if I window tile, and the one down here in the bottom right, this is the annotation, right? That was the one that I opened first. Let me play with the model. I'm going to throw some solid form geometry in here. Boom. Finish that. I'm going to give it some, oh, look. It's 3-dimensional, right? It's a generic model, but it's 3D. It's solid geometry. It's what we use to build that table. Whoa. Huh? Whoa. Okay, let's do this. Shading with edges. I'm going to leave this open. That's just the floor plan. You know what? Let's make it a little funner. Let's make it the 3D view, even though it looks like a little box. Funner. Is that a word? No, it's not a word. Why does he use that word? I don't know. Bad English? Okay. Left-hand side is the 3D family, the model family, the generic model template file. On the right-hand side is the annotation, generic annotation template file. And you can see very clearly that, oh, the generic annotation doesn't have any 3D view. Notice also what's happening in the project browser, or not the project browser. What's this thing? Project browser. This is editor. Design bar. Design bar. So on design bar, if you look at that for when I am in the 3D family versus the 2D family, big difference, right? Okay, so knowing the template file. let's just apply this